domains. He has worked with different industries, starting from Tata, PepsiCo, Lafarge. Currently, he is with the Aditya Birla Group as General Manager of Sustainability-related Interventions. Dr. Susanta Podder is also academically associated with various universities like Calcutta University and certain other international universities. He is also on the expert panel at ICC, and he is member of ROSPA, a body from Scotland that takes care of preparedness for prevention of accidents. Dr. Susanta Podder, welcome to the summit.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, Dr. Susanta, you're going to talk to us about waste management and its practices. Can you share with us how is the government evolving their policies, and why should EHS fraternity kind of take note of this, and what kind of damages are likely to happen to industries who are not able to take care of the new compliance issued by the government?
Yeah, correct. It's one of the valid questions. I think all of us, passing through a pandemic situations, and already we have, laws on handling the biomedical waste. So it was last amended in 2016. So we know as a biomedical waste management and handling rules 2016. So what happened? After this, this COVID-19 scenario, the Central Pollution Control Board, along with the, MOF and CC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, so they came up and they have, given some guideline. First, they have drafted the guideline in the month of, March 2020, and the last week of March, I think it was given on 24th of March 2020. As a guideline, and that guideline is merged with our existing biomedical waste management and handling rules. So in my presentations, so at least you can understand how to handle the COVID related biomedical waste, because that is one of the challenge for us. We are using a lot of PPEs, like all of us know that we are using mask, we are using hand gloves, we are using full suits. So that are coming under a biomedical waste, and how we have to handle this situation. So that is very, very nicely given by the Central Pollution Control Board, along with the other government body.
Dr. Susanta, tell me, this is an unprecedented challenge, because now the stories that we are hearing is that the COVID virus is not just traveling from these water droplets, but it is really getting transferred through freight and through material which has been in cold storage, and once it's transferred, and people are getting infected with that. So what is the impact of not doing this properly in the way that you see it? What is the gravity around doing this right?
See, already WHO has given some guidelines, and accordingly our government health department, especially our central government and respective state government, given some guidelines how to battle these situations. So already it's given very clearly. So now the issue is that, see, as this this virus, especially this COVID-19, this virus is so infectious, and I think it's transmitting very quickly. Now what we are using as a, it may be a utensils or any kind of clothes and these things, we must have cautious all around, and we should, especially why I am emphasis on this biomedical waste, because we don't know, whenever we are using any mask, or whether we are using any kind of PPEs, we don't know whether it's coming under biomedical waste or not. So that's why they have given some specific guidelines for that, to handle or to combat the situation.
Makes sense. So, Dr. Podder, with your permission, I will bring upon the slides that you're going to present. Please walk us through your content. And this, to me, is absolutely relevant as on today, because most of the organizations, in fact, any organization who is having their people wear PPE, which is just about everyone, will need to now follow these guidelines. So it's important not just for the EHS fraternity, but for any organization of any size, because there has to be a way in the way these things get disposed.
Correct. So thank you so very much. So first of all, I would like to at least emphasis on the our existing biomedical waste management handling rules. Then I will quickly going through these guidelines for handling, treatment, and disposal of the waste generated during this pandemic situation, like when we are treating, when we are uh, diagnosis or quarantine of COVID-19 patients. So that is very important, and that is the must with our existing biomedical waste management handling rules 2016. So anyway, just I'm going through my slides. Yeah. So first of all, you should know, as I am talking on waste management and special emphasis on biomedical waste. At least we should know as a EHS fraternity that what are the relevant laws relating with waste management system. So if you refer this Bhopal gas disaster, it was happened in 1984 in the 2nd and 3rd December. And after this Bhopal gas disaster, I think all of you know about the Factory Acts. So Factory Acts, last amendment was happened in 1987. So, but this amendment was happened after this Bhopal gas disaster, means after the 4 years. Likewise, the Environmental Protection Act, I think all of us we know that the Environmental Protection Act 1986 is termed as a umbrella of other acts and rules, and this biomedical waste management handling rules 2016 is coming under this umbrella of EPA Act 1986, and this EPA Act was amended after 2 years of this Bhopal gas disaster. So we learned lot many things after this Bhopal gas disaster. So anyway, even we are learning lot many things through this pandemic situation COVID-19. So that's why a lot of regulations are going to change, and obviously, so it's in kind of draft stage. So in waste management, just I'm quickly going through. There are 6-7 buckets. So first one, I think you know that the hazardous and other waste management and transboundary movement rules. It was last amended 2016. So 2016 is a very important for this EHS fraternity, because lot of rules and regulations got amended in 2016. Then plastic waste management rules, it got amended in 2016. Biomedical waste management rules 2016, it got amended, and it got again amended in 2018. There are little amendment happened for this biomedical waste management handling rules. Solid waste management handling rules 2016. So that is also a very relevant for our current scenario, this COVID scenario, because what happened, lot of solid waste are generated from different segments, but here we are mixing with existing biomedical waste. We are mixing like PPs with a solid waste, and what happened, the solid waste got contaminated. So that's another issues, another challenges. Okay, then e-waste management handling rules, it got amended in 2016, and finally the construction demolition waste management handling rules 2016. So that's why 2016 is very important for all of us who are in the EHS fraternity. So at least we should know the genesis of the biomedical waste handling rules. So first it got it was initiated in 1998 by MOEF. At that time, that is a Ministry of Environment Forest. It was not a Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Correct. 20th of July 1998, first it was launched. First amendment was happened in the year 2000. Then it got again amendment in 2003, and finally it got amended in 2016. So with the replacement of this, which was happened in 1998 initially. It was the first, enacted act for biomedical waste. So it's basically a genesis. I think we should know, because in today's session, I'll going through emphasis on the compliance part as well. Yeah. So you should at least understand. So what is the biomedical waste? So if you refer the statutes, you can understand the definition. So definition is predicted in the page number 4 of this biomedical waste management and handling rules. So briefly, biomedical waste means any waste generated from any kind of diagnostic activities or immunization of the human beings or animals or research activities pertaining to. So there are a lot of research labs are there, like in current scenario. So a lot of research activities is going on. So that will be coming under a biomedical waste, or in the production of the testing of biological activities were going on, and in the health camps, including the categories mentioned in the schedule 1. So schedule 1 is a very important. So if you refer the schedule 1, you will have at least the idea what are the categories mentioned in the schedule 1 that are linked with the biomedical waste. So who at the risk? So first of all, we should understand. I think as a EHS professional, you know the risk assessment. So initially, we do a risk assessment, and why we do risk assessment? To predict the situation. So risk assessment is always is a proactive approach. So through that, at least we can understand what are the prevailing risks. So here also, like we refer for any kind of risk, there are two things we consider. One is the likelihood, another is the consequence. So here also, so if you priority wise you look after, then the doctor and nurses are the topmost at risk through this biomedical waste disposal or any kind of handling procedure. Then any kind of patients, like patients who are contacted with the COVID positive patients or COVID suspected patients, so they are prone to this kind of risk. Then third one is a hospital support staff. Fourth one, waste collection and disposal staff. So when I am going through my presentations, so there is one of the legal obligations. So who are handling or collecting biomedical waste, so there are certain norms. So the occupier, basically the responsibility goes to the occupier. Like if I am operating any nursing home or hospital, so then as a owner or as a occupier, this responsibility goes to me. So I have to manage everything. So I have to train them. I have to at least know the risk. So these are the risk or these are the hazards. So based on that, you can infect it. So that is a responsibility of the occupier or the owner of the hospitals or nursing homes or any kind of industries as a whole. General public in the vicinity and overall the environment. So why? So finally, we are dumping all the waste, all the biomedical waste to the environment. So there are certain factors for that environment got polluted. So that's why environment at a risk. Yeah. So hope everyone agree with this photographs. So that is nothing but you'll find the lot of biomedical waste, untreated biomedical waste are dumped. Even if you go to a dumping place, like basically I am staying in Kolkata. So if you have visited a place called a Dhapa, so it's a largest place where all the garbages are dumping. So if you visit the place, you find lot of hazardous, non-hazardous waste are mixing, and even the biomedical waste are dumped there. Okay, so this is a very common scenario, and after this COVID situation or COVID post-COVID scenario, so this situation is happening, and that is a very alarming situation for us. Okay, yeah. So what to do with it? So first of all, at least we should know the methodology. So segregation is a most important factor. So if you can do a proper segregations, so then with the source correction, then all the problem will be resolved. So the key to proper biomedical waste management is to the segregation as an individual category of the waste are to be treated and disposed of in different specific ways. At common biomedical waste treatment facility. So what is the common biomedical treatment facility? I think you know that lot of vendors are there who have their common facility, who can properly treat the biomedical waste. They are having an incineration facility. They're having a secured land filling facility where they landfill the biomedical waste after properly incineration or properly autoclaving or properly microwaving. So these are some technology, so they are adopting. And finally they have some chemical and mechanical techniques by which they decontaminated the biomedical waste and finally properly landfill the treated residues of the biomedical waste. If you have visited any one of the landfill areas of the biomedical waste, at least you can see how they are managing the situation. But yes, the incineration procedure is again harmful, because who are in the vicinity of the incineration facility, they got impacted if the proper APC devices are not functional. So APC means air pollution control devices, like it may be your cyclone separator, it may be a waste scrubber. So basically they are using this kind of pollution control devices, and that is very much important to handle these situations. So these are the basic concepts of biomedical waste management. First and foremost important thing is that we should never mix the infectious biomedical waste into the municipal waste. So otherwise what will happen, the entire waste lot got infectious or infected waste. So that is very difficult for any one of the us to decontaminate the entire waste. So first of all, proper segregation is required. So it should not be mixed with the infectious biomedical waste. Second, segregation and safe containment, that is a proper packaging shall be done. So here I would like to mention that as I am from the industries and working from different industry for last 15 years. So in industry, in current scenario, in new normal situations, like all of us, we have resumed our operations in the industries, and we are using like PPs, like even nose mask and other even hand gloves and other stuff. So what happened if we are unable to segregate, unable to containment the PPs, because these are also a part of the biomedical waste, we should know. So we should be properly containment this biomedical waste as a biomedical waste, and we should properly level this. Yes, these are the biomedical waste, and these are related with maybe COVID or non-COVID. So we have some facility there. We have some facility for the containment and the packaging. Correct. Third one is the processing and the storage for the final or terminal disposal. So where I can say that if you refer the biomedical waste handling rules 2016, so it's mentioned that we cannot store any biomedical waste beyond 48 hours. So that is one of the guidelines given by the Central Pollution Control Board. So for that we must have some tie up with the vendor who are handling with the biomedical waste. So they come to your facility, collect the biomedical waste, and they will dispose the biomedical waste in a safe manner. So that is our responsibility. So we have to first discard it properly, containment or packaging the waste, and finally we have to store and give the biomedical waste to the recyclers. Yeah. So there are some changes happened in 1998 biomedical waste handling rules. If you just go through the tables, you'll find. So initially, it was given for like occupiers with more than 100,000 beds required to obtain the authorization. It's telling about the authorization. Like if you are any industries are operating, even a small health center, occupational health center, it's not like big nursing home or hospitals. Even for the industries who are having a small occupational health center, even a non-bedded, they have to go with this registrations. So they have to fill the form one, submit to the pollution control board, and based on that they issue a authorization certificate. So that is one of the compliance requirement. Initially, if you see in the biomedical waste and handling rules, there were no operators. Operators were there, but the duties or JD job description or job responsibilities were not mentioned. But now that is very clearly mentioned. So what are the responsibilities of the operator? Because what happened? They are the key driver to operate the entire process or entire operations. So they should know how to operate, and what are the guidelines given by the government authority in a safe way. Third, you can if you refer the schedules. So there are different categories are given. So I'll tell you in the brief in my next slides. So in current amendments of biomedical handling rules, you will find there are 8 categories given in the schedules. Even for this COVID, COVID biomedical waste, they have given some color coding system. So in that particular color coding, drums or color coding bags, we can pack our biomedical waste, COVID related biomedical waste. Okay, and even there are some formats are given for annual reports, and even if any incident or accident happened that is relating with the handling of biomedical waste, we have to immediately fill the form and report to the concerned authority. What type of biomedical waste are to be handled or stored, that is also given. So for glasswares, there are different color coding system, like blue colors are there. For white color codings, like sharps items like needles, syringes. So in for this kind of waste, you have to use white containers. So they have given red and blue categories of containers. So in the next slide I'm going through this thing. Yeah, so that is also a very important. Here they have mentioned that see, whenever anyone segregating the biomedical waste and trying to pack the biomedical waste, they have to use these thumb rules. Like they have to fill 75% of the capacity, while to wrap the bags in a proper way. That's why there is no cross contamination happen. So some good practice they have given, so I think we should follow this. Yeah, that is also very important. This is a barcoding system. So nowadays what happened, if you are habituated with this system, the compliance requirement. So whenever you are packaging any biomedical waste, and we cannot, already I explained that we cannot store any biomedical waste, even the COVID-19 related biomedical waste, more than 48 hours. So we must have some storage place where we can store these color coded bags or color coded bins marked with like COVID or XYZ. And so these barcode facilities are provided by the recyclers or the who are taking a waste from your end, common biomedical treatment waste management facilities. So when they come, they will give you a codes, barcodes, and when they scan in the barcodes, then automatically the date of production, place of production, type of waste category, and even how long you are storing the biomedical waste, that all are mentioned. Correct. So the scan and these data are trigger to their websites. And I think this data is also linked with the pollution control board side. Another most important requirement is that, like, if you have your website, central website or corporate website, so in the sites also you have to mention how much biomedical waste you are generating every day. So production data you have to incorporate in the sites along with other data like category of the waste, quantity of the waste, date of production of the waste, everything you have to mention in the site. So that is also one of the legal obligations. Okay, there are some good and bad practice. So best practice they have given. So whenever any waste, biomedical waste, even relating with the COVID-19, so you have to follow that who are handling this biomedical waste. They must use a proper PPEs, personal protective equipment. So that is very important. Secondly, we should not do any kind of overloading system. So when we are transporting any biomedical waste, we should follow this guideline. So otherwise what will happen, the spillage, there may be chances of spillage, okay, and that will contaminate the entire way. So that is also very important. Yeah, so already explained, this is a form. So it's incident reporting or accident reporting form. If anything happens relating with the biomedical waste or even the COVID related waste, then we have to intimate through this form to the concerned authority. That is the responsibility of the occupier. So we should remember that biomedical waste lies with the generator. So who are generating the biomedical waste, all responsibilities, all accountabilities goes to him. So if any mishap happen, so obviously he or she is accountable. It's a very clear in the statutes. So very carefully, because now we are going through these pandemic situations, lot of hospitals and nursing homes are managing, even the private organizations are managing this waste. So we should very cautious. So that is ultimately a responsibility of the generator who are generating the biomedical waste. Okay, so every occupier to ensure that biomedical waste shall not be mixed with the other waste, such as the municipal waste, and that is one of the biggest challenge. So we should very cautious that yes, it's a biomedical waste. It should not be mixed with other kind of waste. It not be a municipal waste. It may be a different kind of waste. It may be like even plastic waste. It may be a electronic waste. It may be a demolition waste. So we should be very cautious. Second thing is that biomedical waste shall be segregated, treated, and disposed of in accordance with the Schedule 1 and in compliance with the standard prescribed in the Schedule 5. So all the schedules of the biomedical waste management handling rules are very important. So if you go through a Schedule 1, you will have a detailed guideline how to handle these situations, how to segregate, how to pack in a proper way, correct? And finally, the common biomedical waste treatment facility, and one that is C. So in current scenario, we have another constraint. So in many places, we don't have any facility for this common biomedical waste treatment this thing, who can collect the waste from your end and dispose it in safe way. So if this facility is not coming within a 75 kilometers, so then the responsibility then we have to do tie up with the ULBs, means urban local bodies. It may be a panchayats, it may be a municipalities. Then with consultation of them, they can do a proper segregations or proper disposal. So we have to inform even the local or state pollution control board as well that we don't have any common biomedical waste treatment facility. So that's why we are connecting with the ULBs, urban local bodies, and in this way we are disposing the entire biomedical waste. yes, we should also remember that biomedical waste that are to be transported must be securely packed and labeled as per the Schedule 4. So Schedule 4 is telling about the how to pack securely, how to label all kind of biomedical waste. That is a very specifically predicted in the Schedule 4. Transportation of biomedical waste is allowed only in the vehicles authorized by the prescribed authority. So that is also another important thing. I think all of us know about the trim card. So although trim card is a different, it is not relating with this rules. Trim card is a transport emergency card. Like whenever any flammable chemicals are transported, so they have to carry trim card as per the given laws stipulated in petroleum acts and rules. So they should follow these guidelines. Even if you refer the MSIC rules 1989, manufacturing, storage and import of hazardous chemical rules, you will find these obligations. So transportation is another part, and for that you means the transporter who are handling these biomedical waste vehicles, they have to have authorization from the transport department. So they'll give them a authorization, and they'll give some guidelines as well. And our day-to-day record of the quantity under the different categories of the biomedical waste generated in the premises must be maintained. So for that, some registers are there, they have to maintain. Already explained barcoding facility. Although the barcoding facility was not there in the previous rules, it was amended in 2016. So in this barcoding facility or barcoding system, you will have every details, and that is connected through a state pollution control board's website, and even the vendors who are collecting the waste from your end. Yeah, that is a very good system. You can have a entire tracking of the waste. And that is also very important. No untreated biomedical waste shall be kept stored beyond 48 hours. So I explained already, although, but we should follow this thing, follow this guideline. We should keep this biomedical waste in a secure place, should be locked properly. This should be a kind of access control. So the person who are authorized, they can access this place or storing facilities. If for any reason the biomedical waste is required to be stored beyond that time period, so then any persons or any occupier must seek a permission from the prescribed authority. So here the prescribed authority, State Pollution Control Board, even they can approach to the ULBs, and ULBs connect with the State Pollution Control Board and even the Central Pollution Control Board. There are some guidelines as well. So this part is important. So that's why I'm depicting all the legal relating issues. So this is the contravention of the act and rules and orders, and the directions may lead to the legal actions. Even the Central Pollution Control Board given the guidelines on 24th of March relating COVID-related waste that is connected with our existing biomedical waste. So here, at least as a occupier means who are operating any establishment. So there are some punishments. So the punishments is like imprisonment up to 5 years with a fine up to 1 lakh. So that is one of the contravention as per the statutes. And for failure or continue the contraventions, a fine rupees 5,000 per day may be charged, and if the failure or contravention continues beyond 1 year, the imprisonment may be extended up to 7 years. So at least we should know this is a contravention, and if we deviate any one of the directions or directives, or up to a 7 years. So we should know this thing. Okay. Yeah. So already I explained in my previous slides, but here you'll have some statistics. Almost 85% of waste are non-infectious, 10% are infectious, and 5% are hazardous. So for hazardous, there are separate rules. So already explained. the hazardous and other waste management and handling transboundary movement rules 2016. So for this 10% infectious biomedical waste, we have to very much cautious. If this waste are mixed with any non-hazardous waste, then there will be a big challenge for us. So that is important. And these are the 6-7 steps we should follow. First, in any kind of waste management system, the characterization is a very important. So we should understand the characteristics of the waste. Second is the quantification. Third one is the segregation. So again, I'm telling you, segregation is one of the most challenge and one of the remedial actions to come out of these situations. Then transportation, treatment and disposal. This transportation, treatment and disposal, although this is not our part, so the ULBs and the common biomedical treatment facilities, they are handling this situation, but they also know how to transport, how to treatment, how to dispose. So that is also important. So in the right hand side, I think you can see different color of color coding of containers, like the black, red, yellow, blue, and white. So so black is for non-infected waste, like any kind of cytotoxic drugs and chemical waste. So these waste, even the discarded medicine is coming under the biomedical waste. So any kind of discarded waste we have to dispose in a secured manner, and we have to store it in this black container. So all the COVID this waste are we can store in this yellow colored drum, and in this 90 related biomedical waste. Correct. So that is an important thing we should know. Then blue color containers, like any kind of infected plastics and kind of thing, and sharps items are we can keep in the white containers. And all these containers, whenever they are transported through this common biomedical treatment facilities, so they are doing either kind of recycling, or they can do a deep burials and secure landfills. So these are some mechanisms through this mechanism they can securely landfill all the biomedical waste. Okay, so I'm just going through next slides. Yeah, I already explained that on 24th they have given some guideline. Then finally they have issued final guidelines, CPCB guidelines on 25th of March. So that is relating guidelines for handling, treatment, and disposal of the waste generated during treatment, diagnosis, and quarantine of the COVID-19 patients. So in my next 2 or 3 slides, I will be quickly going through. So already explained the compliance requirements. So here the main backgrounds for this COVID-19 biomedical waste, how to handle. So in order to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the state and the central government have initiated various steps, which includes the setting up quarantine centers. And third, this revision 1 of the guidelines is done mainly to incorporate specific requirements and the responsibilities of the person who are operating this quarantine camps, or caretakers of the quarantine homes, or home care units. Person, so general solid waste, like household waste generated from the quarantine centers or camps, should be handed over to the waste collector identified by the urban local bodies, or as per the prevailing local method for disposing of general solid waste. For solid waste, already we have solid waste management handling rules 2016. We have to follow the same rules for biomedical waste. If any generated from the quarantine centers or camps, should be collected separately in yellow colored bag. Again, I'm repeating, yellow colored bag. So already explained. So all the COVID related waste are segregated, properly stored in yellow colored bag, suitable for the biomedical waste collections provided by the ULBs. These bags can be placed in the separate and dedicated dustbin of the appropriate size. So already they have given the size as well. They have given the color as well. So, and they have given some guideline that we have to keep separately with the proper labeling. So that is more important. Person operating quarantine camps or centers should call the CBWTF, means common biomedical waste treatment facility operator, to collect the biomedical waste as and when it gets generated. Contact details of the common biomedical treatment waste facilities would be available with the local authorities, means ULBs or state pollution control boards. Persons taking care of the quarantine homes or home care should deposit biomedical waste, if any, generated from the suspected or recovered COVID-19 patients by following any of the following methods as may be arranged by the ULB. So ULBs have given some guidelines. So basically the guidelines already predicted in our existing biomedical waste management handling rules. So if you refer Schedule 1, Schedule 3, Schedule 4 or Schedule 5, there is some guideline given how to collect, how to segregate, even how to dispose the entire biomedical waste. Proper segregation of the biomedical waste is one of the challenges. Yes, if we can do properly, I think every problem will be resolved at source. Try to reduce the biomedical waste generation. Individual awareness and participation, I think, is very important. So I think all of us know what are the risks pertaining to COVID-19 related waste. So finally, I would like to thank the audience and thank everyone, thank the organizer.
Dr. Susanta, thank you so much. I think very informative and exhaustive. One quick question, Dr. Podder, has there been a monitoring system that has been announced as to how we will monitor if compliance is being adhered to or not?
So see, so if you see for especially for the compliance, there is two part. One is identification of the compliance requirements. That is first thing. So as a owner or as a entrepreneur, or that is the first responsibility. You have to identify the requirements. So if you don't know, so whether biomedical waste is applicable for you or not, so that is a big challenge. So first is the identification. Second is checking of the compliance. So like that, so these are the requirement, correct? So again you have to compliance, we termed as a compliance check. So for example, we can store the biomedical waste 48 hours. So if we are unable to identify the legal requirement, we cannot track the legal this thing, correct? So that is very important. So there are some checkpoints. Obviously some through these checkpoints, at least you can track the legal requirements, whether any organization are complying or not complying.
Okay, but I would say what has been released by the Central Pollution Control Board is to be looked at more from a guidelines perspective than law against which, if there is non-adherence, you can be held up to.
Now see, this guidelines issued by the Central Pollution Control Board, and it's specifically written that this guideline is merged with our existing biomedical waste management handling rules. So now, in fact, company or any medical facilities, they have to adhere. Even the ULBs, so they are also follow these guidelines. Correct. These guidelines is tagged with our existing biomedical waste management handling rules. So that's why it's so important. So we cannot bypass this COVID-19 related biomedical waste, which are generated from any kind of quarantine centers or hospitals or nursing homes, and even the ULBs relating like municipalities or panchayats. So we have to follow this guideline. Yeah.
And Dr. Susanta, as this is a whole new thing, and there will be, government will be seeking to ensure that all industries are, or in fact, all organizations are managing this. So the custodian of ensuring that these laws are followed is with the State Pollution Control Board, or would there be a separate body or another mechanism that will make sure that notices or other defaulters are being called out by which body will be responsible for making sure that people are adhering to it, by the way of making
The responsibilities goes on the state pollution control boards. Even where the state pollution control boards are not there, so they have empowered the ULBs, urban local bodies, so they can, if they can see any kind of violations or deviations or any kind of contraventions, they can take actions.
And who would
But
they report to in a case like
the
this?
state pollution control board are responsible for that. Yeah.
Sure. And so, who would they report to, Dr. Sushanta, in your view? I'm sure these systems are, taking its time to be in place. But for now, what should, as a ground rule, we must know in a way that if there is violation, then which is the body that we should report back to?
So for that, you can immediately report to a state pollution control board. So state pollution control board are there. There is a grievance redressal cell. So you
Okay.
can report every violations. So based on that, they can take actions. First, they will discuss with the concerned ULBs and take a necessary actions for that.
Makes sense. Very, very interesting, Dr. Susanta. The way we see this is that it's going to open up some opportunities for newer type of consultants who can then, work with industries or organizations to ensure that right checks and balances and processes are put in place to, ensure that the right kind of biomedical waste is treated the way that it has been guidelined to.
Correct.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Dr. Susanta. Very, very informative session. And thank you for sharing this with the EHS fraternity at the EHS Summit.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.